Limited today were Corey Ballantyne, Kenny Clark, Josh Jacobs, Marshawn Lloyd, and Quay Walker. Jordan Love did not practice.
So what's this week look like from a prep standpoint for Jordan? Is it mostly just rehab, or is he able
Couldn't
to
help you. I knew it was going to be you, Bill. I knew it was going to be you. I knew he was going to ask that question. He's going to do everything he can to be out there, and we'll give him the week.
Because I just know from like on the practice field, is he chiming in out? Is he helping Malik? Is he even out there to do anything as far as that?
Yeah,
goes?
he's been out there at practice and been engaged, knows every play call, is always coaching up Malik, coaching up Sean, is doing a good job with it.
What happened to Quay?
Growing.
Matt, guys in the defensive guys in the locker room have mentioned, having kind of some urgency to get the details and the things you were talking about, kind of getting that stuff straightened out. Do you sense that urgency from those guys?
Yeah, I think just judging by the practice, the communication, it's never going to be perfect, and we talk about that all the time. And it's about the progress that we got to make, and certainly there's a lot of things that we have to clean up. But the game of football is never perfect. The thing you need to do is you got to try to eliminate from making the same mistakes twice. You got to continue to learn, grow, learn from each other. I think that's a big part of it. And the faster we can get everybody on the same page, and there is a learning curve to it, but I'm excited where it's headed.
I understand you just said learning curve, and I understand you don't accept, you get what you accept, and usually that's not great if you don't get on guys. But is that the kind of stuff that happens with the defense when you play 8 snaps in preseason? Is that the kind of stuff where if you got a new system, but you want to go into the season healthy, you have to weigh the risk versus the reward?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things you always battle as a coach, especially when you have a new system, is do you put the guys at risk, at more risk? There's always obviously a risk, whether it's practice or the game, and you just got to make a gut decision on it. And hindsight's always going to be 20/20 in terms of, but the unknown, you're never going to know. If you go out there and somebody gets dinged up and you miss them for a significant amount of time. So, it's just one of those things. I think the trend around the league for most teams now is to rest your guys. So it's, I'd say it's similar for a lot of teams. Some teams do choose to play the guys, but, we did not.
That offense is no slouch. With the hindsight of 2020, you still feel like you made the right call?
Yeah, I think so. I think, we just got to maximize our opportunities. When you go back and I hate to go back and revisit the game, but we had 3 takeaways, and we had ops for probably 4 more opportunities where we have Jalen in the pocket where he's getting hit, where we're not hammering after the ball, and then we had 2 potential pick-ops that we didn't come up with. And, they can say the same thing too. They dropped a pick 6. So, that's always part of football.
How are you approaching using Adrian Cooper? Is it now where you can just create some packages as you kind of develop him because of the time he missed, or can you throw him into everything?
We'll have to wait and see, Spoon.
Well, what did you do in the last game?
Well, I can tell you he played 10 snaps. What happened, he went out there early, we had a misalignment, they scored a touchdown, and that hurt his ability to get out on the field until we were just like, all right, hey, he's got to go out there. And he started making plays. There's going to be some bumps in the road. There is with every young player. And so you can't let it deter you. If he makes some mistakes, you got to keep it moving, coach him up, teach him. The thing that you'd like to see is it's not just him out there. There's 10 other guys out there. There's other guys that are smart enough that can, correct the situation before it becomes one. So, I would say the emphasis on that is like, hey, if you guys see something wrong, make sure we communicate it so we can try to get it fixed before it becomes a problem.
So you expect, someone should be able to tell him you're in the wrong spot, right?
You would like to think that, yes. That's why it's on all of us. It's on everybody. We got to communicate, the other backers, the safeties, everybody.
on Berkeley's touchdown, you know, you had McKinney way over on the left.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's the one I'm talking about, yes.
So,
You could tell, I mean, there was a lot of conversation going on in the back end because and I don't blame X either. I mean, he's trying to cover down so we don't have a 2-on-1 situation out in the slot. We were a gap short on that play, so.
Pass rush wise, what's the challenge with the Colts front in that regard?
Yeah, they're a really good offense line. Are you talking about their offense line or the defense line? Yeah, they're good on both sides of the ball. So these guys do such a good job. They're relentless. They do a really good job of working together. They're very choreographed, and they do a good job with their pick stunts. There may be some instances where they can get a little grabby, but that's football. But they do a really good job of what I like to call creating carnage up front and picking guys off and getting free hitters on the quarterback. And that shows up all over their tape. It showed up last year. It showed up for Houston. So I'd expect them to try to do the same thing to us.
In the same vein as that, DeForest Buckner from his time with the Niners and with the Colts, what do you see with him and the threat he poses?
Yeah, he's been one of the premier interior players for many years now. So he's just a massive human. He does a great job inside. You can tell he's a really intelligent football player as well. So he's a guy that I've got as much respect for anybody in this game. Just the way he handles himself and the way he performs on Sundays.
You want to put this Jonathan Taylor back in 2020? Is he still that same dynamic as he was back then?
He's pretty dynamic. Yeah, he's got elite speed. He can make you miss. He's a big guy. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. So I think he's the total package.
Matt, I know you'd rather have your stud quarterback, and you may still have him apparently, but if you don't, is it kind of invigorating as a coach to face this kind of challenge? I know you don't want to have to face it, but once you know that you probably are facing it, do you enjoy that as a coach, or does it suck?
I'm not going to answer that. No, I'm just kidding. I think that, I mean, every week's a challenge. And certainly, I mean, Jordan obviously is our number one quarterback. And I think every time you take the field, you want your best players available to you. And when they're not, then it can be challenging, especially a guy that has been here a short period of time, but it's one that we're going to embrace, and we're going to do everything in our power to put him in the best possible position. And he's working really hard, and he's done a nice job. I would say the practice today was better than it was yesterday, so that's encouraging. And I think the more reps he gets, the better he gets. And so, but I think every week is an enormous challenge in this league, and you can never take it for granted.
He asked you about the psychology yesterday. I'm curious, from the team, as you see your players react to this potential challenge, how do you see them kind of embrace it or handle it? I mean, are guys, you want them to play their tails off all the time, but do they even think, all right, I got to do that much more because...
No, I think anytime you try to go outside yourself, that's when mistakes happen. So I think everybody has their own focus, and it's to do their job at the best of their ability and whatever they're asked to do. And I think they've embraced that challenge. I think they'll embrace their roles, and I think they'll stick together and rally around each other. That's what I expect.